You won both the Anthony and the Edgar your first novel out, and that's after so many years of working to get there. And then it gets turned into a movie. That must have been really thrilling as a young author.
And I haven't won an Edgar since, by the way. They've been ignoring me since 1985. It was crazy. I mean, I had 13 years of abject failure. 9 or 10 novels didn't get published. A lot of very mean rejection slips. I went in and I was organizing all my manuscripts and everything to store them away. And I found these, for some reason, I'd saved these rejection slips, and they were horrible. They were just mean. Nicely enough, most of those people don't work in publishing anymore. Anyway, it was just surreal. It was surreal. All of a sudden, I'm doing things I had been on TV because I wrote a nonfiction book about fear in kids, and they ran me around doing interviews. So I'd done a lot of television. I was kind of used to that. But all of a sudden, I'm getting interviewed by people like Howard Cosell, and Brian Gumbel. It was pretty surreal. And then to win the award, I mean, it was marvelous. It was a wonderful experience. But so my initial feeling, the advance for that novel was so small. I had very good practice. We had, I think, the biggest child psych practice in Los Angeles. I had 3 really great psychologists working for me. We were busy all the time. We were making a good living. And I remember I was driving a really nice car, and my publicist from my publisher, I picked her up at the airport. She said, "Oh, you're driving a nice car." I said, "See, I don't need you, It wasn't starving writer, although I've had my starving phases. I didn't grow up with, I've been working since the age of 12. So I was saying, well, they paid me so little for this. Maybe if I can afford it in 2, 3 years, I'll do another one. This is not a job, this is a hobby. And then it became this bestseller, and I said, I'll write another one. And then, I'll write another one. And I just kept on going, and I tried to do both. From 85 through 90, I tried to do both, going and seeing patients and going back to my usual schedule of sitting in the garage from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. and writing. 1990, I said, okay, I'm going to try writing full-time, see what that's like.
Your next few books, Blood Test, Over the Edge, Silent Partner, and Time Bomb, did so well that by the early 90s you were focused full-time on writing. What was some of the most exciting territory you covered in those first few books?
Each novel is more difficult to write than its predecessor because you've put out so many words. And as I say, I loathe stereotype. You're trying, on the one hand, if you write a series, your loyal readers, whom I adore, need to feel what I call the comfort of the familiar. So you need to do some plot telling and some repetition so that the faithful reader feels at home. But you don't want to overdo it, but yet you want to get the new reader in. So it's always a combination. I am not trying to be disingenuous, but the novel I always like the best is really the one I'm writing now. I do have a fond, there's a fond place in my heart for the murder book, because in the murder book, I got to explore Milo a little bit more, go into his history before he became the guy that we know of as Milo Sturgis, So. But I just really get involved. I go on from book to book. I still get a kick seeing a new book with a jacket, even though so many of them are ebooks. You still get a real book. If you look in the back, those are all my books. There's nobody else's books. There's a lot of books.